What separates those who give in from those who rise? What makes one person reach for their dreams, while another settles for excuses? Is it talent, luck, intelligence? No, it's something deeper, something quieter, often invisible, but always there. Self-control, the silent architect behind every great success story. Today, we're diving into the psychology of self-control, how the mind creates winners, and how you can train yours to join them. This is not motivation. This is science. Welcome to the inner mechanics of discipline, focus, and the power of delaying gratification. Let's begin. What is self-control really? Self-control, often called willpower, is the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to achieve long-term goals. But it's not just about saying no to junk food or pushing yourself to work late. At its core, self-control is a psychological skill, like memory or problem-solving. And like any skill, it can be strengthened, trained, or neglected. Psychologists define it as the ability to regulate thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in the face of impulses. It's the mechanism that stops your hand from reaching into the cookie jar. It's the voice in your head that says, "Don't quit. One more rep. Stay focused. Keep writing. Wait. Think before reacting." But where does it come from? The marshmallow test, a glimpse into the future in the 1960s. A famous experiment took place at Stanford University. Psychologist Walter Mischel sat children down in a room, placed a single marshmallow in front of them, and gave them a choice. Eat the marshmallow now, or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows. Some kids waited, some didn't. But here's where it gets interesting. Years later, researchers followed up with those same kids. The ones who resisted the marshmallow, they scored higher on standardized tests, had better health, more stable relationships, and significantly greater life success. Self-control, at age 4, predicted life outcomes decades later. This was one of the first major clues that self-control was NT. Just a momentary decision. It was a predictor of life trajectory. But what was happening inside the brain? Inside the brain, the war between two systems. Your brain is a battlefield. On one side, the limbic system, emotional, impulsive, ancient. This part wants comfort, pleasure, ease. It screams, "Eat now. Quit now. Scroll more." On the other side, the prefrontal cortex, logical, forward-thinking, modern. This is your inner strategist. It plans, it delays gratification. It says, don't trade what you want most for what you want now. Self-control is the ability of the prefrontal cortex to override the limbic system. In that moment where you hesitate, where you feel torn, you're re-witnessing this psychological tool. But here's the key. This isn't about shutting down desire. It's about choosing which desire wins, because you don't just want the cookie. You want to be healthy. You want to be disciplined. You want the reward that comes later. And self-control is learning how to remember the bigger reward. When the smaller one is in your hand, ego depletium, the willpower battery. Now, some psychologists once believed that willpower worked like a battery. Each act of self-control would drain it. They called it ego depletion. Skip desert, lose some willpower. Hold your temper. Lose a bit more. By the end of the day, your willpower tank might be empty. This explained why people made worse decisions late at night or after long periods of restraint. But recent research challenged this theory. It turns out belief matters. People who believe willpower is limited experience more fatigue, but those who believe it's they perform better, longer, without burning out. What does this mean? Your mindset about willpower influences your actual willpower. So instead of saying, "I'm drained," tell yourself, "I'm getting stronger," and you will. Haba, the shortcut to self-control. Here's a secret, winners. No, discipline isn't about fighting every urge. It's about building systems, so you don't have to. Self-control is most powerful when it's automated. Through habits, A habit is your brain on autopilot. It removes decision fatigue, it reduces temptation, exposure, and it saves your mental energy for more important battles. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't resist the urge not to brush. You just do it. Now imagine applying that same autopilot too. Waking up early, exercising daily, working in focused blocks, eating clean when self-control becomes habit. It becomes unstoppable. Winners don't rely on constant motivation. They rely on engineered environments, routines, and mental triggers. The environment is stronger than you think you are, not just a product of will. You are a product of your environment. Temptation is often a matter of proximity. Put your phone in another room, and suddenly, it's easier to focus. Keep junk food out of the house, and you're not fighting the urge every evening. Make your workspace clean, minimal, intentional, and watch your mind respond. Your brain takes cues from what surrounds it. And winners, they design their surroundings to support their goals. They don't make self-control harder than it has to be. They engineer their lives to avoid the fight altogether. Identity, the deepest layer of discipline, here's where it gets powerful. You can resist temptation. You can build habits. You can design environments. But the deepest level is identity. Ask yourself, who are you? Not, what do you want to do? But, who do you believe you are? Because behavior follows identity. If you believe, I'm a disciplined person. I'm a high performer. I don't skip workouts. I don't need validation. Finish what I start. Then your actions begin to align. And every time you act in accordance with that identity, you reinforce it. Self-control becomes natural, not forced. Because now, it's just who you are. Pain tolerance, the unseen edge. There's one more truth about winners that's rarely spoken. It's not just about resisting pleasure, it's about enduring discomfort. High performers aren't just good at avoiding temptations, they're good at tolerating pain. Boredom, frustration, delays, repetition, silence. They know that greatness lives beyond the initial discomfort. They feel the resistance and move anyway. They understand pain is not the enemy. It's the gateway. How to build self-control, practical techniques. Let's make this real. Here are 7 techniques to develop powerful self-control. 1. Temptation bundling. Pair a task you dislike with something you enjoy. Example, only listen to your favorite podcast while at the gym. 2. The 10-minute rule. When craving hits, wait 10 minutes. Most urges fade by then. 3. Visualize consequences. Mentally fast forward. What happens if you give in? What do you lose? 4. Create implementation intentions. Set clear if-then rules. If I feel tired at 6 p.m., you will walk 4 or 5 minutes instead of collapsing on the couch. 5. Use commitment devices. Make failure costly. Bet money. Tell others. Set a visible consequence. 6. Remove choice. Predecide your behavior. No debates. No, should I? It's already been decided. 7. Reward progress, not perfection. Celebrate consistent effort. It's not about never slipping. It's about always returning. The winner's mind. The winners of the world. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders aren't just more gifted. They are more disciplined. They learn to wait, to focus, to delay. They built minds that chose long-term value over short-term dopamine. They weren't born that way. They trained it. And so can you. Self-control is not a moral virtue. It's not about being good or bad. It's a mental skill, a muscle, and every time you resist, refocus, and rise, you're building that muscle. So the next time you're tempted to quit, procrastinate, or take the easy path, remember, you're not just fighting for this moment. You're shaping who you are. The mind creates winners. One choice at a time, and your next one could change everything. Thanks for watching. If you found this powerful, share it with someone who's building themselves. And remember, the strongest weapon you have is your mind. Trey Idwell.